Hello everyone and welcome back to the Authentically Blue podcast. I am your host Kalson. Today we have a special episode known as Birthday Edition Authentic Rambles. You heard that right. Well, you read it in the title. It's my birthday. It's 3:20 a.m. in the morning and I felt like recording this. I don't know what got over me because it's been a second since I've had the urge to record a podcast. But here we are. Before I dive in, I am sitting in my room. I have a beautiful bouquet of flowers in front of me. And they are purple and white. I bought them for myself a few days ago. It's weird because I felt like doing something nice for myself. So I thought, why not? And it made me think the past 4 years I've always had flowers on my birthday. I've never bought myself flowers, but have I? No, I've never bought myself flowers, but this is the first time I've always bought people flowers and had them in the house with me, but I've never bought myself flowers. So it's my birthday and I've been having so many thoughts lately, as you do on your birthday, but I am making this episode an authentic rambles episode because I've had so many thoughts as to how I want this podcast to be from when the whole idea of creating a podcast originated in late 2018 or 19. I guess podcasts were popular then, but it's crazy how many people have created them ever since. Yeah, I was gonna say things happen for a reason, but I've been questioning that a lot lately. I'll touch on that later onwards. However, when the idea of creating a podcast popped into my mind in late 2018, I was in love with podcasts. I still am. I am a podcast junkie. However, I wasn't sure how I wanted to present it to the world. I personally enjoy podcasts that are more vulnerable and more raw, where people talk about their lives and overshare and just be. But at the same time, I enjoy podcasts that are more professional and have people being interviewed and that kind of setup. So I was torn between the two. Ultimately, when I did start this podcast, when I did the trailer for the podcast in October 2021, I finally decided I want it to be more professional and not share about my personal life. However, in the last 2 episodes, or the one I recorded about manifestation, which is not yet out but will be, I became more personal and it felt right. Same with Authentic Rambles. The idea popped into my mind when I just wanted to be in front of the mic and speak my mind, be authentic and just ramble, because honestly, I ramble a lot in my real life. Those who are close to me know this. So I thought, why the heck not? Okay. My whole point of saying all of this is I did not want to share personal things about me on the internet, but I don't know. A part of me feels like I want to, and it feels right in this moment. So why not? I can always delete these episodes later or stop doing them. But going with my gut and doing what's right, even if it feels weird, even if it feels weird from what I had originally planned. I was listening to 2 podcasts 2 days ago. One of them was by Ali Abdal. The podcast is called Deep Dive. The specific episode I'm talking about was the latest one. I think it's called How Our Life Has Changed in the Past 3 Years, where him and his brother Taimo talk about the different changes that have occurred in their life in the past 3 years. The episode was interesting to me because Taimo is private, whereas Ali is more, he doesn't really care about being private in that way. He thinks if something he shares will help people, then if something he's gone through or experienced will help people, then, he's gonna share it. He's okay with it. And I feel like as I said earlier, I'm stuck between the two. But I'm leaning more to, if something I'm experiencing or going through helps someone, then go for it. Letting go of all the awkwardness, weirdness, judgments, and just things that part of the reasons as to why people want to be private. I don't know. It's a personal thing or preference. What struck me was while listening to the podcast, they speak about milestones in their life and how they had certain goals they were waiting to hit, or how different things shape their life, both professionally and personally. And it had me reflecting on my life and how I've hit different milestones or goals and things that have happened in my life that have changed, whether it was the way I thought it would be or how it ended up being, which is really interesting. Again, in theme with the birthday edition, we think about our lives a lot and how our lives have been and how we want it to be during our birthday, which is, interesting. The other episode I was listening to is by this Stephen Bartlett, who I absolutely enjoy listening to his podcasts. And I think it was one of his earlier episodes where he talks about being authentic and real. He made a promise to his listeners that he will be genuine and speak the truth. Well, his podcasts were not scripted then. I don't know about now. I don't think they are, but the episodes I was listening to, he did not have many guests on. They're more off the cuff and he speaks his mind, which is something I liked. And it reminded me of the episode I did, Authentic Rambles, which I really enjoyed, just coming on here and speaking my mind. Whereas the other episodes I've done, they have been more scripted. I have like bullet points and specific things I want to touch on. And yes, I know he does that slightly. And I do that too, but for me, it was more in depth. But like in this episode, all I've done so far is just ramble. I don't have a script or anything. I'm just speaking the thoughts that come to my mind, which I like. And I do have on my phone a few things I want to touch on before, in case I forget. But it's loose and not scripted, is my point. Anyway, while I was listening to that episode by Steve Bartlett, he talked about looking at his diary for the past 7 days. The way he approached his episodes in the beginning was, I think this was episode 3 or 4 I was listening to, but what he said is that he promises to be authentic and real and genuine with people and speak his mind and be honest, even if it gets him in trouble. And the second thing is he started this thing where he would look at his diary, reflect on his thoughts for the past 7 days and see where he is. So kind of like a diary out loud, but with self-reflection and awareness. And I thought that was really interesting because when I came up with the idea of Authentic Rambles, it was more, I wanted to speak my thoughts authentically. Very similar to what he was doing, but the diary thing was a bit different because I do journal. I think I've mentioned this in a previous episode. I don't do it physically anymore. I do it on my phone, the notes app. I love it. And every day I write down what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, whether it's anxious thoughts, nervous thoughts, good thoughts, thoughts in general. And I have so much information in there. It's got to the point where sometimes it's difficult to open my notes app. But yeah, my point is, I'm rambling again. This is why this is Authentic Rambles. My point is, I love that idea and I thought, you know what? I'm going to do that for the next episode I do. I looked at my journal for the past 7 days and picked out thoughts I'd like to share on here, because who knows, maybe if you're listening to this, you are experiencing similar things or have had thoughts like this before. So let's dive in. Does everything happen for a reason? this is something that's been on my mind quite a lot this week because I've been questioning, as I said earlier, birthday season, so reflecting on life in general, how my life has been the past year. And honestly, I was telling a friend this other day, I feel like it's been the shittiest year I've ever had. And I've never been one to go back in time and rewind things. However, I do feel like scratching this past year out completely. I mean, I hope I never get to experience anything like that before, and hopefully it makes me more resilient. But I had mental breakdowns. I had moments of complete and utter doubt. I didn't recognize myself half of the time, and still working through many of those changes. Wow, I am being very vulnerable and authentic here, but still working through many of those things and figuring out who I am. I guess that's all part of life. Insane? Can't imagine. It's so easy to feel like we're the only ones who go through these things, but we really are not. Yeah, does everything happen for a reason? Speaking to my friend a few days ago, actually, which is why I brought this up, he mentioned how, I talked to two friends. One friend mentioned he doesn't believe everything happens for a reason at all, whatsoever. I have always believed everything happens for a reason. I believe you meet people for a reason. People come in and out of your life for a reason. Things work out personally, professionally. I've always believed everything is how it's supposed to be or meant to be, and I've never really questioned that. I do not mean this in a religious point of view, but I have always believed everything happens for a reason. I've always believed, looking back at my life, the things that have worked out, the things that haven't worked out, the things that could have been, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have always appreciated and respected all of that until this year, apparently. When I talked to this friend, we were speaking and I was questioning, I was having a moment where I was doing a rant, and I said, well, everything happens for a reason, I guess. And my friend said, I don't believe that actually. I don't believe everything happens for a reason. I didn't question him further in that moment. I will. I probably should have before I started recording, but maybe they meant people have choice, people have options and limitations, things that stop them from... People have the choice, I think, is what my friend meant to say. But I do agree people have the choice, but looking back, for instance, with me choosing to move to another city, I wouldn't have met the people that I met today. And in the past 2 years, there are certain friendships that have helped me experience things that I don't think I would have in the way that I did. And I'm grateful for it. Whereas, I don't know if that would have happened if I chose to live in another city or wanted to do things a certain way. I've always believed everything happens for a reason. The jobs that didn't work out, the reason as to why events in our life turn out the way they have. And maybe part of it has always been hope and belief that there's a reason for everything. I don't know. I'm starting to scratch my head right now and question and wonder. The other friend I was speaking to mentioned that they truly believe everything happens for a reason. And I told him, this is after I spoke to my other friend who doesn't believe things happen for a reason. I said, I've always believed that, but I have been questioning that lately. My friend had this strong opinion that things really do happen for a reason, and they believe it. And they've never questioned, because with this friend, it was more of a religious point of view, I suppose, which is different because my other friend isn't religious. But is that the point? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, it just got me thinking, does everything happen for a reason? If you're listening to this, listening to me rant all the way in, do you believe everything happens for a reason? If you look back at your life and from childhood, where you were born, which family you were born to, your gender, your experiences, the people you've met, at any age. It's a lot to think about and process. And it's kind of wild if you think about it. At the moment, I am not sure if things happen for a reason. I used to strongly believe in that, but I don't anymore. And who knows, maybe things will change when I'm feeling better. I suppose it's an existential crisis. Wow, I couldn't say that word. Maybe that's what it is. But who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind later onwards. I will update you guys. But I have talked so much about if things happen for a reason. The second thing is a concert I was really looking forward to tomorrow, which I talk about in the manifestation episode, which I will release soon. I don't know why I'm not releasing that episode. I want to release it. I was supposed to release it, as I will say in that episode, late March. However, there have been so many catastrophic things happening around the world, and it didn't feel right releasing an episode talking all about creating the life you want when things are out of people's control. And then the past month, I edited the podcast and I was going to release it. However, I was not in the right headspace, and I just wanted to be authentic and not release something that I'm not living or experiencing right now. Life is full of ups and downs and people experience different things, but I'll probably release it in 2 weeks when I know I will be in a better headspace. So yeah, stick around for that. Okay, point being, I was supposed to attend a concert, which I was really looking forward to, my first concert ever, which is something I manifested. That's why I brought up the manifestation. However, the concert was cancelled, and it sucks. It really sucked because of something I was really looking forward to, and it's okay. Life happens, but that's another thing that happened this week. The third thing I want to talk about is what is the meaning of life? This one's more of a deep one, and I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up, but it has been something I have been thinking about a lot, especially in the past 2 months, I'd say. Weirdly enough, I came across a couple of podcasts I was listening to where people talk about the difference between purpose and passion. One of them recently was by Steve Bartlett, where he talks about we don't have to know the meaning of life, and how people always insist on knowing the meaning of their life per se, and it brings people so much unhappiness. And it made me think, that's interesting. Another episode I was listening to today by Tom by Liu, and it says, do this every morning to destroy laziness and quickly get out of a rut, with Dr. Rangan Chatterjee. Dr. Rangan has his own podcast that I have listened to quite a bit, but this one was interesting because they talk about our passion and meaning of life. Success is obviously different to everyone, but things that define our life or make us happier as human beings. And all of this got me thinking about the meaning of life. Why do we exist? What is our purpose in this universe? What is our passion? What's our purpose? But I think purpose more than passion. Like, why do human beings exist? Why do I exist? Why am I on this universe? I think if I truly answer that question genuinely, for the past few years, I'd say since I was young, something that really brought me joy was making a difference in people's lives, whether it's making someone more relieved, not less relieved, making someone feel relieved. That is grammatically correct. Making someone feel relieved in any way, whether it's putting a smile on their face, complimenting them, helping them. So it just made me think of the love languages. Complimenting them, acts of service. Literally, I would maybe do someone's bed, help them with the dishes, or be there as someone who's listening and comfort people in knowing that they're not alone. And I've always felt so much joy till now. I was telling a friend of mine, actually, it's slightly toxic because there was a period of time where I wasn't doing that for anyone and I felt it's kind of inadequate, which is insane, but it's the truth. So it made me think, when I reflect on that question, what is my purpose? I've always believed it's making people's lives better or making a difference in people's life. That's always brought me joy. That has always brought me joy. Which brings me back to my point I was making earlier. The difference between our passion and our purpose. I was on Instagram the other day and there was a live I decided to hop on. I can't remember who it was. I wish I did, but they were talking about the difference between passion and purpose. Passion is our why. What is our ultimate why? And why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? That's our passion. Purpose, on the other hand, is our what. And this grows and evolves as we do. It changes. It's fluid. It made me think and reflect on my why and made me think about the meaning of life differently. Another interesting thought I had, this one's kind of sad, but the realization of how truly alone we are in this world. And my grandmother always used to say she still kind of doesn't see the purpose of having friends because we're all alone in things. And I don't think when I was young, I always used to look at it and think, but what do you mean? Because I loved making friends and I loved speaking to people and I loved doing things with people and interacting, and I was a social butterfly growing up. I don't think I am now, but times have changed. And it made me think, especially recently, how truly alone we are. And my granddad used to say, we're born alone and we die alone. And I just heard the birds. That was beautiful. He loved the birds, my granddad. But I heard the birds chirping outside. That's beautiful. Okay. That threw me off for a second. But the idea that we are alone in life and how everyone experiences life alone. The thought is crippling, to say the least, and terrifying, but it's liberating on one hand because we get the choice and the freedom, but on the other hand, it's sad. And I don't know whether I liked it for a while. I viewed it as a negative thing because it's insane to me how close we are to people and how these people can live our lives at any point, whether it's by choice or not by choice. And it's daunting and terrifying. I mean, what is life even? Okay, I don't want this to be a sad episode, but these are the thoughts I've been having. As I have said, the last few months haven't really recognized myself or have not really enjoyed who I am or who I've been and how my life has been lately. And I've been finding ways to get out of this funk, I would say. I think a huge important part of it is mindset. Our mind is a very powerful organ. I used to hear how people talk about this a lot, but I don't think I recognized just how powerful until I went through it. Things that I have and I am currently doing to get out of these funks is doing things that bring me joy. And a few of these things include going for walks. I think this is a huge one. I actually went for one today because I needed to go get some groceries. I needed to go shopping and buy some groceries. So I thought, let me go for a walk. I was about to say hot girl walk, but I don't do those. I just go for walks. And on my walk, I saw someone who had beautiful hair and had the urge and could not hold back, which I never do. I always compliment people if I like something because, as I always tell my close friends, this world is full of hate. So do the best you can and, give back and give good into the world. So I complimented this person on their hair and they were so happy, and just it made me happy seeing how happy they are, complimenting them, which was nice. A few days ago, I also needed to go for a walk, and I went for a walk and I just sat down with my coffee. The birds are so distracting. With the coffee, someone came and sat near me. I was sitting on like a bench area, and the person came and sat next to me, and they had a dog with them. One thing led to another. We ended up started talking about the dog, and he mentioned how he rescued this dog from being abused, and how the way he talked about the dog and how unjust and unfair it was, and how he had to, even though he has dogs at home and maybe it wasn't convenient for him, but he couldn't let this dog suffer, made me feel genuinely happy and grateful that there are people like that who exist in this world. And yes, I know it's just a dog, but it's not just a dog. Scrap that. It's a living creature in this universe. That was really beautiful. And having that conversation made me appreciate life just a teeny bit more, which I enjoyed. So that's something I've been loving a lot lately. Another thing I've been loving is watching movies. I am not a movie person. I am a TV show kind of girl. And I like movies or shows have a slice of life reality to them and have a feel-good vibe at the same time. And a few that I've watched recently that I absolutely adored is The Ugly Truth. I actually watched that before I recorded this episode because it inspired me to, and I was like, oh my goodness, I feel so good right now. I want to record an episode while I was feeling good. Another one I liked, which I watched yesterday, a friend recommended, is called Cha-Cha Real Smooth. And that was an interesting one, to say the least. But I really enjoyed it. Another one I absolutely loved is The High Note. Weirdly enough, Cha-Cha Real Smooth and The High Note both have Dakota Johnson in it. Love her acting. Absolutely loved it. And another thing that's been making me enjoy life more and get out of this funk is listening to music. I've always loved music, and like the last few months I haven't really been listening to it as much or enjoying it as much. But today, especially yesterday I should say, because it's 4 a.m. in the morning. Yesterday when I was getting ready to go for my walk, while I was dressing to leave, I opened YouTube and clicked on the first video I saw. Crazily enough, the song that popped on was 2002 by Anne-Marie. And it was her performance at the summertime ball, I think. You can find it on YouTube if you're interested. But that song and the way she sang it and the vibes and the happiness that radiated, it just made me so excited and so happy. I don't know how to explain, but it made me feel good. It made me feel excited and ready to crack on the day and get on with life and enjoy how I'm doing. This has been Authentic Rambles, and I think I enjoy doing episodes more rambly, unplanned, and looking on my diary, journal, and seeing what my thoughts have been and sharing it with you guys. So if you have enjoyed this, let me know, and I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Thank you for tuning in on this birthday edition. Goodness gracious, I'm really sleepy. It's 4 a.m. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to try my best to be more consistent and figure out what I like and what I don't like with this podcast. See you next time. Bye.